Hey people, how you doing? My name is Art, and this is a different type of video. Today I will go over a title that is a comic book video, naturally, but it's a graphic novel review. Or trade paperback, whatever you want to call it. So, without further ado, let's talk about it. Now, what happened was back in the late 90s. Okay, what happened was back in the late 90s, Daredevil had a resurface. I mean, you're like, whoa, this is kind of neat. Daredevil came out in the 60s. Was a somewhat a very good comic. And then it went from A status to C status, I'll call it. He had his own book, but he's not well known. Spider-Man was number 1. X-Men technically was number 2. Avengers was probably number 3. Avengers and X-Men was swapping spots in my opinion, but Daredevil was like a D-list, C or D-list hero. And he was basically a street level hero, let's put it that way. Frank Miller comes in, makes a guy relevant again. Then after that, he falls into obscurity. Early 90s, he comes back to prominence again. And then he goes back to obscurity. It's like he's even today. Chip Zdarsky's run, I didn't really give a damn about Daredevil until people kept hyping me up and say, "Dude, you gotta read Daredevil. You gotta read Daredevil." I'm like, I like Daredevil, but he's like a D-list character. No pun intended. Why? I picked it up. I was like, this is going on my pull list. Instantly on my pull list. Even today, I'm like, wow. But anyway, I want to talk to you about the Guardian Angel storyline. At the Motor City Comic Con, I picked this up. And I said, oh, cool, I could get this. Now, the funny thing was, in the late 90s, when I was graduating from college, it was either late 90s or early 2000s. And I can't remember when. I can't remember exactly when this happened. This run came out. But the funny thing was, at that time, it was hard for me to find a copy of the first 5 issues. When I say it's hard, think about it. That's like 20-something years ago. Not like today, where you can almost find anything, but at the right, depending on what price you want to pay. But back then, it was hard for me to find this because eBay wasn't existing like how it does today. Amazon wasn't existing like it did today. So keep that in mind. It was hard to find them, and a lot of times those books like 20 to 30 bucks a piece because the run was so freaking hot. And why was the run hot? One man in particular. Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is I'm pretty sure you guys heard of Kevin Smith. If you have not heard of Kevin Smith, he had a big he started off with this like slightly indie film called Clerks back in the 90s, which I still have never seen to this day. He did this movie called Mallrats. Jay and Silent Mallrats, I finally saw that a couple of years ago, and I thought it was funny because it's Stanley cameo in it. That was pretty funny. Jay and Silent Bob, that's basically that's what it's about. But for the most part, pretty much, who is this guy? Dogma is also a very good movie. Very good movie. But then again, as like a lot of people in Hollywood, starts to fade. He's a comic book fan. He's a big comic book fan. Now, there's a lot of people who write in comics today. I mean, for example, CM Punk wrote a Thor story. I'm like, I never really known CM Punk to be a comic book fan. Other people dipping their hands in the ink, so to speak. Hollywood celebrities and stuff like that. I'm gonna write a story, and sometimes the stories are a hit and miss. Right now, the rumor has it that Nyla Rose from AEW is writing a Thunderbird story or a Warpath story, something like that. And I'm like, Then again, AJ Lee, CM Punk's wife, wrote a couple stuff for like Wonder Woman or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, I understand people get a little famous writing books, but the thing is, I don't see you guys promoting comic books. You may be a comic book fan, but I don't see you promoting comic books. That's a totally separate issue. And everybody could agree with me or disagree with me, which is fine. But what happened was Kevin Smith wrote, he got a run on Daredevil. And that thing blew up like a bomb. When I say when it blew up like a bomb, it's like someone just boom. Because like I said, back then, 20-some years ago, I could not touch a copy of any of those books for less than 20 to 30 bucks. Matter of fact, a couple of years ago, I picked up one of the books that's in this book in the dollar bin because the prices dropped significantly. Okay, so if you know anything about comic values and stuff like that, you can understand what I'm talking about. So something that's hot right now, you probably can't touch it, but sometimes it doesn't retain its value. One of the reasons why, and it's also prompted the Daredevil movie that Ben Affleck was a part of, because Ben Affleck, like Kevin Smith, their favorite characters Batman and Daredevil. So be it. But anyway, this storyline was so good, Guardian Angel. And what happened, also Kevin Smith, I think he's a Catholic, so it touched a lot about Catholicism. So, and of course, Daredevil's Catholic to a certain extent. He's more than your C&E Catholic, Christmas and Easter Catholic. But it talks about his faith and everything else, how he doubts his faith and all this other stuff. Bullseye makes an appearance in this, and that was really good. I mean, it was a total mind fuck of a story. And this is the first 8 issues. At first I said, okay. I picked it up last night, and I was reading it. I could not put the shit down. Couldn't put it down. I couldn't put it down. And when a book makes me do that, then I know it's a very damn good story. Sometimes I could pick up a book and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's on YouTube? Oh my gosh, let me check out my phone. No, I read this. The phone was put down. TV was off. I even cut off the music just so I could concentrate on the damn story. That's how good the story was. That's how good it is. I'm not going to spoil it. If you read it, you already know what it is. If you read this long time ago, you already know what the story is. And you don't have to. If you haven't read it, I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't. Because it's that damn good. And when you see it, it makes total sense of what happened to the main let's put it this way. It sets up 20 years later a return to the storyline in a certain way, in a different book. Now this is the Marvel. Now what happens was it was also drawn by Joe Quesada, the guy who ran Marvel. It was funny. Soon after this, he started running Marvel. Imagine that. Kevin Smith, a Hollywood writer who knows comic books and is a damn good writer of comic books. Joe Quesada, a great artist who became the leader of Marvel. Jimmy Palmiotti does great work even to this day. That triple threat made the one of the best stories I've read in the past 20 some years. The reason why I keep checking my phone is because my mom's husband, my stepfather, he's at the doctor right now. I dropped them off, and they should be calling me any moment now to say they're done. So that's why I keep looking at the phone. But other than that, if you haven't, let me put this, I recommend this book 100%. 1,000%. 1,000,000%. The cream rise to the top. That kind of stuff. This book is like the cream, it rises to the top. And when you reach the top of the mountain and you look around the survey of the land, as you see, this is on top of the heap of the mountain. I don't know where I go. But anyway, this is awesome. I personally recommend you read this storyline. If you read it before, now tell you the truth, tell you the truth, right after I finished this, I looked on eBay. The first six issues you can get for like $30. Now, 20 years ago, you couldn't even, the $30 could only touch you one book. That's how good. Well, of course, things drop, but, and plus it also had the Wizard Half book that was in here. Plus I had the Wizard Half, which I thought I did have at one time. I don't know if I still do. But let's take a look at some of the variant covers. So look at that. See how dynamic that cover is, that picture is right there. Here's another one. Sketch for Black Widow. It's a very awesome book. Oh, here it is. If you're into J. Scott Campbell, this is his. You can tell his drawings right there, and I don't want to show you this because it's a spoiler for the book, but I'm telling you something, this back cover is awesome too. This is an awesome book. I totally recommend it. I forgot how much what happened was at the Motor City Comic Con when I picked this up, it was one of those 4 for $20 books, so of course I picked it up. Was it $19.99? I don't have my glasses on. $19.99. Even if you bought this at full price, it's still an awesome book. If you could pay less than $20 for this book, even better. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching. If you read this story, let me know what you thought about this story. Does this make you want to read this story again? If you haven't read it before, would you be interested in reading that story? Let me know down below, over here or there, or however you look at YouTube, where the comments are. Okay. With that being said, I'm gonna go back and relax today, and I'm hoping that you got a great day. This is Monday as I'm filming this, of course. It's a holiday, federal holiday for me being a federal worker. But by the time you watch this, by the time this is on, I'll be working. But anyway, I hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a good week. And I hope everything's productive in your life. And just remember, that was my foot. Just remember, even in life, something might happen to you. It's just a stumbling block. You just tripped. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, get back at it. Alright, with that being said, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends, family, fiends, and your mad uncle, whatever. Alright, talk to you later.